Hey, how you doing? I thought we would chat a little before we admitted anybody, but it,
That's so neat because she's good. She's home. She's family.
I said you were muted.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. You and I almost got on the same colors a little bit.
I know. That's energy. 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 Energy.
Hey, Dershan, Martine, Nicola. Who else I see? Onika.
Hi, Dr. Karen. Hi, everyone.
How are you? I started dialing your number, Martine, and did not even finish it today. How are you?
Oh, good. We'll definitely connect.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I was thinking of you yesterday.
you did and didn't call me. Okay.
Yeah.
But I know you were thinking of me. Okay.
Yes, I was thinking of you. All right.
Y'all, Coach Jeff is going to be on in a minute. So first of all, I'm glad everybody came in and made the sacrifice. I know you all had a long day. Y'all was out there making plenty money, and now you just done wind down to get some more golden nuggets. I love it. I love it.
Hey, hello.
Hello, who is that? Hello,
It's Carisha.
Carisha the rapper.
Hi.
While we waiting for Coach Jeff, you want to hit a rap one time? No, I'm joking. You got to rap for me before it's all over.
I am. I'm gonna rap for you one time. I'm actually me and Cora was actually gonna go to the studio. I told her let's go to the studio because surprisingly she used to do music too.
Who?
Cora.
Oh, Corey did too? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll get both of y'all next week. Okay. All right.
Good
I'm
evening.
excited
Hi,
for
Dr. Karen.
Hi, who is that? Good evening. Who is that?
Andy, Andy, Andy,
Sandy. Sandy?
Andy, and Divvy.
Indy. Oh, okay. Indy. Okay. I couldn't even hear you. Hey, Indy. Who is TRYUC?
That's my son account.
Okay. All right. Hey, Indy. Glad to see you. Coach Jeff coming. He coming. Who did some, put in the chat while we wait. Who did some money making activities today? Tell me one thing you all did. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let me see. I'm calling you out. What one thing you did money making activity? Let's see. Joseph is on here. Diara, Gina. Submit. Okay, that's good. Submit contracts. Prospecting. Love it. That's the meal ticket. That's the winning word. Prospecting. Cold call. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Let me see, did I miss some showings? Tina showings, okay. Door knocking. I take my hat off to anybody who door knocks. I love it, but I don't like to do it. I would love to do it, but I'm not there yet. Coach Jeff, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna be quiet. Welcome, Coach Jeff.
I was here. I was getting some people in the room, excited to be here. Before we get started with our event for tonight, I'd like for everyone to just take that QR code and scan it because we want to make sure we keep a database, truly a database. A person that keeps a good database makes a lot of money, they say. So just scan that QR code if you could take a quick moment and register for tonight's event. As we had it free, we did not have a registration link for you guys. So we just want to keep a record of who's here. And if we just take a quick moment to fill that out. And then our overview for tonight is truly becoming the CFO of your business. You know, a lot of times we like to say we're CEOs, we like to say we're our own bosses, but we don't have our operations in order. We don't have our finances in order. We don't have the operation of the business in order. And what ends up happening is we end up just continuing to run the same cycle over and over and over and over. You know, I was speaking to a life insurance specialist, and she says their biggest targets are real estate professionals because they do not have a life insurance policy. They don't have a 401k. They don't have an IRA. And what ends up happening is they're 80, 90, and you still see them showing real estate. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't get excited about being 80 or 90 and still out there trying to piece a FHA $300,000 deal together while we get closing costs, while the buyer has a 580 credit score, you know, while the buyer's trying to break their rental leases and everything else that comes out with the transaction. So what we do is we have to get our stuff in order right now. And really what happens also is that we believe that the commission check belongs to us. We believe that the commission check belongs to us, and it actually doesn't. The commission check belongs to the business, which we are, and then the rest of it is just a win, you know, it's just a win because we are businesses. We're a Publix, we're a Bentley dealership, we are a Chanel store, we are your Neiman's, your Saks, we are your Apple, and everything else, you know, we're your restaurants, we are your business. So drop a 1 in the room if you went ahead and completed the check-in sheet. Drop a 1. I'm gonna go ahead and complete it myself. So that I can remind myself that I was here as well. Awesome. Where's everyone tuning in from? Where is everyone tuning in from? Drop your location. Where are you guys tuning in from? Fort Lauderdale, beautiful. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. Margate, Miami, Davie, Hallandale, Clearwater. Nice, Clearwater. Hopefully you leave here with some referral business. Clearwater, I would drop my information in the chat because someone may have a referral for you. Pembroke Pines. All right, let's dive in. All right, so The real estate method is ran by Dr. Karen and myself. If you guys are interested in participating in the program, you're interested in growing your listing count, you're interested in understanding how to run your business, you're interested in understanding how to get the buyer to say no, to say yes. If you're interested in understanding how to get the seller to sign the listing agreement, collect your 7%, your 8%, whatever that is. If you're interested in learning how to do commercial, if you're interested in learning on how to 2 times, 3 times, 10x your business, you may want to do an interview with Dr. Karen and myself, which, together it's 36 plus years of real estate that we continue to perfect. We're students ourselves and we continue to perfect. And then what we do is we take the information and we bring it to you guys. Dr. Karen runs and operates a school as well. So if you're thinking that, hey, it's Q2, I'm not where my goals are, then you definitely want to get into coaching. You want to get into some type of coaching so it helps you to be accountable, but it also gives you the green light of what you really need to do. It gives you that pathway of what you need to do so that you can reach your goals. I know that some of our students here are very successful. We actually coach, for those of you guys that don't know, we coach 2 brokerages as well, large amount of students. And we're seeing success. We're seeing that they're doing the activities, the things that we're telling them to do, and they're having wins. So I want to go ahead and let you know that. So reminder, this is a reminder, okay? What is a CFO? A CFO is the Chief Financial Officer who oversees the finances, the planning, and the cash flow of their business. Most agents do not treat their business as a business, but they treat it more as a job. Okay, we don't treat this as a Publix. We open at 8 o'clock, we close at 10. We have a deli department, we have a bakery department, we have a meat department, we have a frozen foods department, we have a self-checkout, we have cashiers, we have supervisors, we have managers, we have back people, we have baggers. We don't treat our business like that. And that's what ends up happening and why we continue to run the same cycle over and over and over. And that's why we sometimes become commission desperate and deal demanding, is because we don't have a cash flow. Like a seller should want to cancel and you're like, okay. A buyer should be like, I don't want to buy anymore. You should be like, okay, because you're not concerned. So you've built a pipeline, but not only did you build a pipeline, you built maybe residual income. You built maybe cash flow opportunities. You've built a 401k where you can cash out of. You've used your IRA so you can tap into real estate investments. You've done other stuff where it doesn't bother you. And what's sad about it is that sometimes we don't even build a pipeline. We're literally working 24/7 on this one deal. Guys, I literally have 3 executed contracts on my desk right now. We're literally working all day on this one contract. And then guess what? April 30th comes in, we close on the transaction, and what's next? What is next? But imagine if we took the time when we built the pipeline that allows us the opportunity to say, I got 8 closings coming up. I got 5 closings coming up. I got 3 closings coming up. I got a closing in June that's coming up. I got a closing in October that's coming up, okay? So profit is not what you make, but it's what you keep, okay? And if this is you, you want to go ahead and say, wait a minute, there's some opportunities of correction here, okay? No savings. You're living off your credit cards. You don't even understand what you spend. You don't have consistent income. You don't have a budget for operating your business. You don't have any set income goals. And once the check comes in, you've already spent it because you're delinquent on your bills and you got to play catch up. So now your commissions are going so fast. Trust me, we've all been there. I've been there myself, And a little testimony. So why was this important to me? I coached a group this morning, Dr. Karen and I shared this with the broker of that. I said, when I first got into real estate, they had never coached us on being the CEO, being the CFO, being the COO. And I got into tax issues, I got into tax issues where I got the tax bill, I never paid it, I didn't care about it. And then I got hit with a lien. And then I was like, what is this, And then the lien said something like I owed $34,000. And I'm like, why? I only made $70,000. How am I paying you guys $30,000? So I just ignored it, I just ignored it. And then guess what? It got worse. And one of my great friends said, Jeff, if you would have put this on a payment plan, $25, Someone's making noise. If you would put this on a payment plan, $25, you would not have been in trouble. And then I went and I hired myself a CPA, still my CPA to this day. And she was able to clean up my books. She was able to finance what my business. She was able to turn my business into an S corporation, turn me into a PA. And then guess what? I started making more money, paying less taxes. I was making $74,000 that year, paying $30,000 in taxes. And what happens is sometimes we just pay because we don't know any better. Sometimes we don't know what the deductions are. Sometimes we don't know that we're being taxed in the wrong tax bracket. But guess what? Guess what? She was able to help me where year after year, I would say, even at close to $1 million, I was possibly paying 30,000 now. Because I understood how to operate as a business. I understood Excel. I understand ADP, which is my service provider for payroll. And I understood that the commission check doesn't belong to me. Okay. So once again, if you're one of these red flags, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to correct it today. We're going to fix it today. Okay. So want to take a quick poll of the room. What season do you fall yourself into today? Because we may have some agents here that are over 10 years in the business. We may have some agents here that are 5 years or less in the business. And then we may have some agents that are brand new to the business. Okay. All right. So new. Any experienced people, 3 years or longer? New. I love it. So this is the best thing to be in here. I promise you all, your brokerage is not teaching you this. They are teaching you lead gen. They are teaching you how to write a contract. They are teaching you on how to maybe put a deal together, but they're not teaching you on how you take your commission check and you separate it and how you become a PA in an LLC. How do you become an S corporation versus a C corporation, or knowing the difference between the two? Okay. So what season are you in is not just necessarily how long you've invested in the space of real estate, but it also means like what space are you in right now? So as you take this information, you have to identify what space am I in? Am I in a space where I want to look at the next? I always think of the triple fives. Okay. Will it matter? Will it matter in 5 days? Will it matter in 5 months? Or will it matter in 5 years? And that's how I base my decisions, okay? And that's what season you have to identify. I got to be in a season where the next 5 years truly matters to me, or you're in a season of, hey, if I mess up now, I still have 5 years to fix it, okay? So once again, our overview for today is we're going to be discussing QuickBooks, balancing your books. You know, anyone that is on QuickBooks, you should be balancing your books every 30 to 90 days. Okay. Every 30 to 90 days, you should be balancing your QuickBooks. Okay. You should be having some sort of payroll. So ADP is probably the most expensive that you're going to see here. But then you have a company that's called Paycheck. You have another company that's called Gusto, and then you have another company that's called QuickBooks, okay? Everyone should be paying themselves. So what does this mean? This means, you know how, okay, this means exactly what Dr. Karen has. So Dr. Karen has Align Right Realty, K1. Then she has Dr. Karen Lewis, Operation, and then she has Karen Lewis, the person, okay? So what happens is after K1 pays all the agents, pays all the bills, then it pays Dr. Karen, the real estate professional, and then Dr. Karen pays herself, okay? And that's where the difference comes within a personal account and a business account, okay? Let me know, you guys can come off of mute. Let me know if you guys are operating from your business accounts right now when it comes to real estate.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Okay. Got it. So what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate within the next 24 hours. We're going to become an S corporation within the next 24 hours. We're going to get an EIN number within the next 24 hours. We're going to go to the bank and we're going to open up a business banking account. And now, when K1 Realty Group or Compass or Align Right Realty or Remax cuts us a check, they're cutting it out to our business. Okay? We're going to discuss 401ks, IRAs. We're going to discuss life insurance, health insurance, commission checks. A lot of people don't have health insurance in the space of real estate because they don't budget for it. They don't budget that, hey, if I take my commission check and I put $200 to $300 towards my health insurance, if I get sick tomorrow, I can possibly go to the hospital. Or they don't have life insurance where if something happens to them, they have a short term, they have a disability, they have an option where they can cash out money and invest. They have something that they are leaving for their kids and their kids' kids, you know? And that's where the conversation comes in. Is it 5 days, 5 months, or 5 years is what I'm looking at. Because no tomorrow is promised. And with no tomorrow being promised, if I have kids or grandkids, or I have maybe a mother or a father that I'm taking care of, what am I leaving behind for them? We hear it. We see it all the time. We got GoFundMe's. We got people asking for money so that they can do the funeral service because a casket costs $10,000, I've heard. I've been so lucky I haven't been able to bury anyone close to my family. But I heard that a caskets cost $10,000 and they don't have it sometimes. But if they had a life insurance policy, they could have tapped into that. Okay. If their books were balanced correctly, they could have tapped into that. Okay. So I want everyone to take a quick moment and I hope you're taking notes. And as we dive into our segment for today, I want you to really identify what are your core values, because this is going to align your business. What are your core values? And then what is the mission statement that you stand behind? So your core values could be we operate with integrity. Our core values will be we provide a white glove service. Our core value can be, we operate with transparency, okay? Identifying what are your core values. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Nike, just do it. That means stuff to them. Their mission statement may be just do it, and then behind there's a core value behind it. And as you guys are writing notes, I'm a researcher, so I'm going to go research it. Really? What are Nike's core values? Innovation, inspiration, authentic, stability, diverse and inclusion, performance. Their mission statement is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And if you have a business account and you're not using it, so a person that doesn't have a business account that's not utilizing it, you're paying 40 to 60% more on a personal account as you're dropping commissions checks in there versus a business person that's paying anywhere from 20 to 30% in taxes. You're paying double and triple taxes by not operating through your business account. All right. So before we get into that, we got to talk about our goals, because our goals, if we have no money to put into the account, then we really have no conversation. Okay. So what are our goals? How much money would we like to generate by the end of 2025? Let's write that down. Write it down on your notes. But if you'd like to share, I'm definitely down for that. I love that. I love that. Let me write mine too. What are your short-term goals? So short terms is typically 1 to 3 months. And then what are your long-term goals? 1 year from now. So 1 year from now, Dr. Karen and I want the largest coaching program out there, you know? We got a goal that we set for the last 30 days, and we're working towards that every single day, you know? And that's a team goal for her and I. And then we have our personal goals, and then we have our business goals, okay? What are your monthly goals? And whatever notebook that you're using right now, this is a notebook that you need to be keeping close to you, because this is the notebook that's going to align you to operate your business. This is the notebook that's going to say, wait a minute, my goal is to make $200,000 this year. If I don't do 1, 2, and 3, I'm not going to get to that. If I go and do that $1,200 rental, I'm not going to get to that. If I go and hang out with that buyer, I'm not going to get to that. If I go and do this open house, I'm not going to get to that. If I go to this party or out of town, I'm not going to get to that. What are your quarterly goals? We're in Q2 now. We're officially in Q2. If you attended our Q2 training, drop some fires in the room. I believe the people were moved last night, that night. I believe the people were moved that night. If you were a part of our Q2 training and you learned something, drop some fires in the room. Nicola was there. We also had some other people that were there as well. And then lastly, what are your legacy goals? What are your generational goals? I'm a grandmother. I'm set to be a grandmother. I'm supposed to be a grandmother. I will be a grandmother. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're not, but you still have some generational goals because you have a mother you're taking care of, or you have an aunt that you're taking care of, or you have a stepchild or something. Okay? Without vision, the people perish. This is exactly what they mean when they say vision. Vision is, what do I see? When I open my eyes, do I see the wall for the wall, or do I see the wall for what the wall can do and what I can do with the wall, or how I can turn the wall, you know? What do I see? So for myself, I'm very transparent. And for myself, when I affirm things, I meditate on them. And when I meditate on seeing the commission checks. I meditate on seeing the homes that I want to sell. I meditate on seeing the transactions that I want to do, the number count that I want to do. I truly see it. I see it. Like, I close my eyes and I can just envision it happening right now. Let's all do that. Let's all close our eyes and let's envision, what does 2025 look like? What does it look like? Does it look like we're ending it at the beach? We're ending it in Barcelona? Does it look like we're ending it with $100 million in production? Does it look like we're ending it with our debt paid off? Does it look like we're paying it in a brand new home? Does it look like we're paying it in a brand new car? How does it look like we're ending it? Let's think about that. Let's envision that. And that's the vision that has to guide you as you run your business. That's why when they hire a CFO for operations, or they hire a CEO for an operation, they ask them, this is where I want to be at, this is where I want to go, and this is what I need your help with. They show them their vision, and now that person now takes their vision and makes it their own. Okay? I hope that put a smile to your face. I hope whatever you envision right now put a smile to your face, because it is obtainable. It's obtainable, okay? So with that being said, we must have what's called SMART goals: specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, relevant goals, and time-based goals, okay? So specific goals is very specific. I want to list 13 houses. Great. You want to list 13 $200,000 houses, or you want to list 13 $500,000 houses? Okay. My goal is so clear that I want to do $40 million of production of homes that are 700,000 and above in the area of Fort Lauderdale to Boca Raton. Are my goals measurable? Okay. Am I truly seeing where I'm at? Where am I going? How do I need to get there? What do I need to do? What do I need to scale up? What do I need to remove? Are they realistic? I just got my license yesterday and I want to go sell a $50 million house. Will it happen? Possibly. But are we being realistic? And do they align with my core values and my mission statement? And then lastly, the time. There's goals that we want to do in the next 30 days. There's goals that we want to do in the next 24 hours. You should operate by the SMART goal system. Okay. And in addition to that, some ideas is how's my schedule? How am I moving the needle into my business every single day? How am I working? How am I eating? How is my health? Maybe those are your goals. My goal is to lose 10 pounds. My goal is to eat clean. My goal is to create some daily habits. Okay. We all saw Ashton go viral on Instagram of his daily activities that he does every single morning. We made fun of it. We cracked about it. Some of us mocked it. But guess what? The guy has a system at 29 years old. He has a system of what he does every single day. And the proof is in the pudding because if you follow him, you'll notice that he does exactly what he puts on the cameras. And that's really what it is. Some people say, man, how do they do it? Damn, how did they do it? How did they get there? How did that happen? Is that they were very clear about their goals. They were very clear about what they wanted out of life. They were very clear that, hey, if it doesn't align, now is not the time. Okay. They were very clear about that. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our business together. Okay. We're going to put our business together. But before I get there, we need to get here. Okay. So if you're a real estate agent, this is the kit that you need to have to be successful in 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, okay? And this is your checklist right here, okay? You need your own business cards. You need a website that is either given to you by your company or you paid for it. You need a professional email address, okay? Not the email address you've been using since middle school, but a professional one that speaks about you being a realtor, that you're a professional. You need to have some for sale signs. You need to have some for rent signs. If someone calls you right now and says, hey, I want to sell my property. I literally took a listing yesterday. I took 2 listings in Coral Springs yesterday. I literally called the company because I don't put out my own signs. I called the company and I said, hey, can you deliver 2 signs? One to this address, one to that address. Guess what? In the next 24 hours, those signs are going to be there. I need to have me some for rent signs. And maybe you're getting them from Vistaprint. Maybe you're getting them from your company. Maybe your company has a collaboration with someone, but you got to get you some signs. You got to get you some lock boxes, some super boxes. I have 11 super boxes, 11. And I probably have 2 or 3 regular lock boxes. You got to get you your e-key. Anywhere that you are that uses Supra uses an e-key. You could be in Texas, Atlanta. You could be in Port St. Lucie, anywhere. You got to get yourself an e-key. Okay, so you need to call your board, pay the $30, the $100. If it's free, you need to get it for free. But you got to get you. If a buyer texts you right now and says, I want to see a property, and the realtor says, go ahead and show it, it's on Supra, you should not be calling the realtor. And I get that. I get that so many times. People will call me and says, hey, do you have another way for me to access the property because I don't have Supra? And I'm like, no, you're a licensed professional operating as a business. I use super lock boxes because it protects my owners of us identifying who comes into the home and who comes out of the home. So no, we do not have a lockbox on there, but we have a Supra. And you are a professional, just like I am. You need to go get yourself a Supra. Okay. You need to be having MLS access. You cannot be using Joe's MLS. You need to be using your own MLS. You need to get yourself some open house signs. I have 30 open house signs. Sometimes I lose them and I just order me some more. But I have in my car, I took it out because I went to the beach the other day with a group of people. I got 30 open house signs sitting right here. And maybe you could start off with 5. Maybe you could start off with 3. Maybe you could start off with 10. But if you have an opportunity right now to hold stuff open house on someone's listing, rather it be for rent, rather it be for sale, rather it be for 700, rather it be for $1 million, rather it be for $30 million. One of our top producers in our office by the name of Peter Barkin, he states that when he gives his agents an opportunity to do an open house on one of his listings, and the listing starts at 12 o'clock, and they don't have the open house signs out, they don't have the sign-in sheet out, they don't have the lights on, the house ready to go by 12 o'clock. By 12 o'clock, he removes them from the property, and he never lets them host another open house for him. You know why? Because he's running a business, and anyone that's associated with him needs to operate in the same fashion. And that's really why people hire us. Buyers hire us for the same reason. Sellers hire us for the same reason, because they believe that we're the professionals and we're going to do professional work, so they have nothing else to worry about. I was just prospecting, y'all, and I was on the phone with an attorney. Okay. Oh, I'm so busy. I got so much going on. Selling this house is at the bottom of my list. And I said, let me take the burden off of you. You need some sort of system that you're using to get your documents signed. Okay, maybe it's Transaction Desk, maybe it's Adobe, maybe it's Form Simplicity, maybe it's Dotloop. But you need some sort of system. I have Adobe, I have DocuSign, I have Form Simplicity, and I have what my company gives me. Because guess what? We're going to get this document signed today. And what happens? Sometimes Form Simplicity acts up, we go over to the Compass website. Sometimes Compass acts up, we go over to DocuSign. Sometimes DocuSign's acting up, we go over to Adobe. But if your company's giving you something that you are able to use for free, you want to go ahead and use that first primary, but you got to get yourself a backup system. Okay? Adobe's like $19.99 a month. DocuSign is like $149 a year. Form Simplicity, if you're in Florida right now with us, it's $75 a year, I think it is. Now you want to get you some folders. If you're meeting a customer, a seller, a buyer, you got to have something to put their stuff in. So you got to get yourself some folders, okay? And maybe it's company branded folders. Maybe it's your logo branded folders. Maybe it's a folder that's sponsored, okay? But you got to get yourself some folders. You need to get yourself a CRM, a client retention management system. You got to have yourself some sort of CRM, whether you're using Follow Up Boss, Chime, you're using KV Core, you're using Performance Peak, you're using Top Producer. You got to get yourself a CRM, because you have to know where your business is coming from, and you got to be in control of it. So I got to be able to speak to someone, plug them into my calendar. I got to be able to speak to someone, send them an email blast. I got to be able to speak to someone. Maybe your CRM is MailChimp, or Constant Contact. That's a CRM as well. But you got to have somewhere where your people are and you're able to speak to them. When my Instagram was stolen, I was able to send out an email in 30 seconds to 40,000 people. You need yourself a listing kit. You need yourself a buyer's kit. A listing kit is basically what I present to the buyer, what I present to the seller when I go to meet with them. And a buyer's kit is what I present to the buyer when I go and meet with them. Social media presence: LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Not some of them, you need all of them. In 2025, you need all of them. I just told this attorney guy who was on the phone with, I was on the phone with him for a good minute. I said, I use social media to move the properties. And he's like, I don't think a buyer is going to be buying my house of $1 million plus on social media. I said, you're kind of mistaken. Our average buyer today is 25 to 35 years old. I said, the baby boomers are on their way out. But the buyers are the ones with the families, the ones that are getting married, the ones that are getting into their careers, 25 to 35 years old. And guess what? They're on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and everything else that's out there. There's more apps that we don't even know about that's out there. Get yourself a calendar app. You're a professional. When someone calls you and they say they're interested in working with you, you need to be able to send over your calendar app to them. You can use Calendly, you can use Gmail, you can use Apple. Maybe your company provides something to you, but you got to get yourself some sort of calendar app where you're plugging them into your calendar. I have a listing appointment on Thursday at 11 o'clock. And I said, lady, hey, do you mind giving me your email address? As you guys know, that's my script. And she says, yeah. She says, are you going to be able to send me some type of calendar invite or something like that? And I said, yeah, that's exactly why I asked you for your email. You need some sort of intake forms, okay? Where are you pulling people's information from? If a realtor calls you right now and says, I have a referral for you, how are you intaking that information? Are you writing it on a piece of paper while you're driving and eating a donut, drinking coffee on a Zoom call? Or are you sending over your link so they can fill it out? You have everyone's information on there. You understand what their goals are. And in preparation for this, I dropped mine in my school, which is one of the things that we give to our coaching students. Okay. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. I was on Google, but I actually moved off of Google because Google requires you to sign in. And I said, wait a minute, not everybody has Google, but I got to be able to take the people's information as quickly and expeditiously as possible. So I went to Jotform. Okay. I went to Jotform. Okay. Real estate buyer intake form, their name, their phone number, their email address, their address. Why do I want their address? I want to mail them something. If they end up not buying with me, I still have access to invite them to places, you know? Are they renting? Do they live with family? When is their lease in? Okay. What area would they like to be in? Do they want a condo, a townhome? Like, what are they looking for? How many beds would they desire to have? Have they been pre-approved or not approved yet? If they're pre-approved, they need to send me over their lender's information. How much money do they have saved? What type of mortgage would they like to be in? Okay. Whatever my questions are to help me better navigate my business. Yours may be just send me your name and your phone number. That's all I need, and I'm good. Okay. I got one for realtors. I got a realtor referral today. I get a lot of realtors referrals. Okay. So I have all of this right here. Right off of here, they're able to upload their W-9 because I'm going to need that. They're able to send me their wiring instructions so we can wire over their commission. Once my company gets paid, we can send them over so there's no delays. We can find out what's their preferred method of payment. Okay. Their companies may not take wire. And then lastly, we got one for our sellers. Okay. We got one for our sellers. And then let's say, for example, I don't use this on my Calendly. I got it right here. Thinking of selling. They're going to plug themselves right here into my calendar. Guess what? If it's already blocked off, it's not going to show available. So these are open. They're going to put in all their information. And then what it's going to do is going to schedule right onto my calendar. Right here. I'm giving it some time so that it can load. Let me see if it's on my cell phone calendar. Yep, I love it. Right here on my cell phone, it tells me someone just booked an appointment. I literally got a listing like that. Someone booked themselves onto my calendar and we did everything right over the phone. Right over the phone, we did everything. I sent her the documents to sign right there through eSign. Hold on. Right here, look. I'm scheduled to meet Tess, whoever that is, April 15th from 12:45 to 1:45. They're married. They want to sell in the next 60 days. The address is 123 Main Street. Okay. So that's just a little bit of how we operate as a business over here. All right. All right, so why is it important for me to incorporate? It's important for me to incorporate because when it comes to paying Uncle Sam, it's very important that I pocket more money, okay? So I'm gonna become either a PA or an LLC. Okay, for myself, I'm an LLC, I'm a PA, sorry. For a coaching program, it's inside of an LLC, it's inside of a corporation. Okay, I'm gonna create a separate bank account for my personal account. And we actually have banks accounts for everything. I have a bank account for the JC sales team. I got a bank account for myself. I have a personal account. I got a savings account. We have the TREMS account, okay? I have my investment account as well for my investment properties, okay? And then what am I going to be able to utilize my business account for? My business account is going to be anything that operates inside my business. Gas, servicing my vehicles, my car payment, my rent, if I use a portion of my house for that. My office, if I have my own office, my business expenses. What are my business expenses? Those are anything that entails me into running my business. I went and printed papers. I went to Office Depot. I got a membership somewhere. I intended a mixer that was real estate related. Anything that's real estate related needs to go inside the business, okay? I'm doing coffees, lunches, breakfasts. I'm doing those. Those are business expenses and etc. Okay? I always hear people say that they pay for an EIN number. The IRS gives you an EIN number for free, so go ahead and scan that, save it to your phone, because that's it right there, and it's free. Free EIN numbers. And the way that people be paying, I should probably be charging them and creating them. I could pop them out in 30 seconds. Everyone scan that? Y'all so quiet tonight. Everyone was able to scan that if you don't have it already. Beautiful. All right, so I got my commission check. So what do I do with it? Okay. So property sells for who knows how much money. Commission checks is $30,000, right? $30,000. I'm going to take 20 to 50% of that, depending on what your needs are. And I'm going to put that into my personal account. Okay. And then I'm going to take 30 or maybe 20 to 30% of that, maybe 40, 50, 60, however you feel suit. And I'm going to leave that into my operating account. And that's the PA that we spoke about. That's the LLC that we spoke about. Okay. I'm going to also remember that I need to pay the broker. I need to pay any processing fees that I have. And then I need to pay taxes. Okay. I need to pay the brokers. So if I get a $30,000 check right now, okay. Let me do this for you guys. Let's pull the whiteboard out. Let's pull the whiteboard out. Okay. So if I get a $30,000 commission check right now, right? Let's say, for example, I'm on a 20%, I'm on a 20% split. Somebody's writing on my board. So that means I pay the broker 20% and I keep 80. So 30,000 times 20%. I'm paying the broker $6,000. So I'm taking home 24K. Okay. This 24K now goes into the operating account. And then out of the 24K, let's say, for example, I take half and I put into my personal. I have 12K left. Okay, this 12K, I now need to pay my staff if I have staff. I need to now marketing. I need to now take 20% of this for taxes and IRS. Okay. And I need to do everything else, bills of the business. Okay. Out of that 12K. And that's a big number. So what happens, Jeff? Jeff only got a $5,000 commission check. So guess what? You still had to pay the broker because the broker always eats first. They would never tell you, pay me after. So that's 4K. I take 2K from my personal. I got 2K to now do my mailers, do my IRS 20%. Okay, I need to pay my staff maybe, and etc. This is how every single commission check should be broken into. Every single commission check should be broken into this. The money does not belong to you. It belongs to the business. And I honestly think, folks, if you're taking 50% into your personal account, you're already taking too much. But I'm being lenient right now. If you're putting 50% into your personal, you're already taking too much. Because $2,000 is nothing. $12,000 is nothing. Okay? Drop a 1 if you're tracking with me right now. If you're following what I'm saying right now, so when you hear when Dixie say we're in the red, when you hear Target say we're in the red, when you hear this company say we're about to file bankruptcy, because what they did was they took all the money they generated, they paid all the employees, they paid all the warehouses, they paid all the bills, and then they had what was left. And that's why they're in the red. You're like, how are they in the red? They had like 30,000 people come in. Because they ain't take all the money and go blow it off at Chanel. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions so far? I tell y'all, this is the hard conversation I had to
Did
have with myself.
did you do 50%, Jeff, on the 24K that goes on your operating account? You did 50%?
I,
Well,
it's up to you. I believe that you should take home to your personal account anywhere between 20 to 50% to your personal account, and everything else should stay in the business.
okay.
Maybe you're a little bit more reserved and you're like, hey, wait a minute, you're right. Let me just take this little 20%. And then the 20% you're putting into your personal account, that's what you're doing your groceries with for your house. That's what you're doing to go to dinner at night. That's what you're doing to go hang out with your friends. That's what you're doing to do your travels. That's the money
So,
that you're using for your personal, anything that's personal, non-work related. You're not paying your cell phone with that because your cell phone is a work device. You're not paying your car with it because your car is a work device. If you have an office, you're not paying your office out of the personal account. Okay.
So Jim,
I think it's you, Joe, and then I don't know, somebody in the background.
no, I'm trying to say something, but there was somebody else in the background.
Go ahead, Joe.
When you got a C corp, are you better off paying yourself less when it comes to trying to avoid getting nailed by income tax?
You always want to have a variance because you never know what may happen. It's always, so for example, if you're on like a payroll system like an ADP or Augusto or something like that, and you tell them how much you're going to make for the year and how much you want to send to the IRS, they're going to pull that money out of your check. So every time you get a check from the Kai's company, for example, they're going to pull that money out. They're going to send that portion that belongs to the IRS. Just like when you work the job, they're going to pull the medical, they're going to pull everything else that's in there. And then they're going to send that to the IRS. And then the rest is what stays in your business account. And sometimes you're in a good position where you're getting money back. Sometimes you're in a position where you do have to end up paying a little bit more because you probably made more than you had anticipated you were going to make.
I haven't said anything.
Hold on. We gotta stop this. Okay. So I believe it's always better to be safer. Go ahead, Gina.
Have when you get into real estate, they always say, start off with the LLC, but which one in your experience or knowledge do you think is better for the real estate professional, the S Corp, C Corp, or LLC?
I'd say talk to your tax advisor because it goes back to your 5, 5, and 5.
Okay.
Talk to your tax advisor of what best works for you and what your goals are. Your goals are maybe to own a 20,000 square foot building one day, and you need to show that you're an LLC so you can get grants and funding and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So operating of the business, that means operating of the business. So that means once I've balanced it out, I've sent myself 20% to my personal account. This is the money for me to go to Loom. I now have to take my money and I have to put it into advertising. I got to keep feeding my business. I got to keep running my commercial ads, just like Target does and every other company out there, I got to say, man, am I going to do any client appreciations this year? Am I going to run any online ads? Am I on Google? Am I on Zillow? Am I on Facebook? Am I on realtor.com? My dry cleaning, my gas, my car payments, my cell phone bills, my staff. I have to be able to allocate for that. So what you have to do is once you leave here today, you got to write down what is everything that I need to run my business and what is that going to take me. So my cell phone every month is $85. My gas, typically I fill up every 3 days. It's $75. You need to budget all of that. And that's going to determine how much do you need to generate for that month or for that year so that I can operate the business. Okay. And remember, when you transfer, you never want to transfer money by just doing a transfer from one account to another. It's called the owner's draw. And an owner's draw, you're only allowed to do $2,000. Everything else becomes taxable. So guess what? What does that mean? That means that once I take money from my personal account and I move it into my business account, I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. But wait, Jeff, didn't I just send the IRS 20% already? Yes, you're now paying money on taxable money. So how do you solve this? You solve this by getting yourself into, we missed a slide. You solve this by getting yourself into Paycheck, QuickBooks, Gusto, ADP, because what happens is it'll balance that off for you. So let's say, for example, QuickBooks is the cheapest that's out there. And then once you get QuickBooks, QuickBooks automatically feeds into all of your businesses. So let's say, for example, I have a debit card, I have a credit card, I have a merchant card, I have a charge card. All of that feeds into QuickBooks. And then from that feeding into QuickBooks, QuickBooks is now able to balance how much did I spend on gas, how much did I spend on dry cleaning, how much did I spend on food. And then once I have my paychecks enrolled into that, because my bank account is connected to that, QuickBooks will take the money, pay the IRS, and tell you how much you need to move to your personal account. And guess what? Once it moves it to your personal account, you're broke now. There's no more money. You cannot move any more money until you get paid again. So when you tell your friends I can't go out until Friday, like you used to when you used to work for McDonald's, you may have to just do that again. Okay? I operate as a business once again. So I'm definitely against this. I spoke about this. And I learned this from the CPA. I spoke about this the other day on Facebook. And then what I did was in preparation for this, I said, let me go find someone that's saying this louder than I'm saying it.
Oh no, my clients aren't using Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. There's been big IRS rule changes. The IRS brought it down from $20,000 to $600, which means that if you're earning revenue of more than $600 on Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle, they are tracking it and they'll be sending you a 1099-K. Many business owners are using Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle, to do personal transactions, but they're actually receiving business income through Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle, and not all these business owners are reporting it. You have eyes on you now from the IRS if you're using these three payment processors, which is why I try to avoid this at all costs with my clients.
Wow, I was just shocked. So what am I telling my customers that happen to be landlords? I say, you got to get yourself on a rent collector, either a system that's out there, either PayPal that's out there. You got to get yourself on a rent collector where you're collecting rent through there and your customers aren't zelling you their rent payments. Okay. So in conclusion, y'all, leads equals to nurture, nurture equals to clients, clients equals to closing, closing equals to retention. How am I nurturing my clients though, Jeff? Weekly emails, spreadsheets, referrals, asking for the business, customer gifts maybe, and follow-up. How do I get to my goals and my income? That's exactly how you get to them. Okay. And then pick three things. Pick three things that align with you. And maybe that's lead generation. Maybe that's prospecting, door knocking, sphere of influence, database. Pick those three things and stick to it. Hire yourself a CPA, a bookkeeper, a tax person that understands real estate and real estate write-offs. Okay. I knew I wrote this on here. Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children. But check this out, not even his children, but his children's. So you got to ask yourself, am I leaving an inheritance? Am I leaving something like behind? Am I leaving a life sake behind? Okay. And then lastly, there are some recommended books that I've read, plus an app that I use that you can definitely screen the screen right now. What's going on here? There we go. The $1 Million Real Estate Agent is a Gary Keller book. It's the owner of KW. He writes this book, and in this book, you're going to learn the formulas of how to operate your business out of business. They recommend every KW agent to read this book when they first log on. More Money, Less Hustle. Okay. I've read this. Profit First. There's some other books that are out there. And then Notion is an app that you can put your weight goals on there, your food goals on there, your to-do list on there, your budgeting on there. You can put all your stuff in there on Notion. And that's it, folks. You don't just sell homes, you run a business. Own every dollar, direct every decision, and lead with intentions. Any final questions? Any final questions?
I thought it was excellent. Please ask your questions before he's dismissed. You are a business owner. It is your business. I love you all, but it's not your broker's business. It is your business. So please ask him questions. I thought it was powerful, Coach Jeff.
I have a
Here's the
question.
next class I needed again. I love it.
I had a question about, if you have a renter and you have a retainer fee, how do you collect a retainer fee from the renters, to make sure that they stay loyal and
So that doesn't belong to you, that belongs to the broker. So
No.
all commission, hold on, I'm getting to you. All commissions belong to the broker. So the same way they would write an earnest check or they would do a wire, they would do a check, money order, cash, wire to the brokerage.
for the retainer fee?
Yes.
Okay. What about that application fee? I mean,
What do you mean? The application fee is supposed to go to the application.
okay. And then my second question is,
Gina,
Yeah.
just to reiterate on what Coach Jeff said, nothing goes to you. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything goes through your broker.
okay. Okay. And then is there a preferred vinyl company for your signage?
I use my own company, but I can definitely refer you guys to someone.
Okay, thank you both so much.
Of course. Of course. Anyone else?
I have a question. Hi, Jeff.
In the
Regarding
meantime, before you go with your question, in the meantime, drop
Mhm.
some sevens if you learned something that you're going to implement in this room here today. And then go ahead, Martine.
Okay, I dropped from 7. Wait. There you go. Question regarding with the S Corp. So I do have an LLC with my business. So I've been thinking about transferring it to an S Corp. But with the S Corp, do you have to start making a certain amount before you transfer it over to the S Corp, or it doesn't matter? You can. Okay.
Yes, always. You can be an S corp from day one. Day one,
Okay.
you could be an S corp or a C corp or LLC, whichever it is, from day one.
Okay.
Do what I did. Don't make $70,000 having to pay the government $32,000, and you got the money because you done spent everything. So you just looking as confused and lost as you can.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
All right, y'all. I have to go. It's been amazing, guys. If you are interested in participating with us in our program so you can learn about stuff like this, what we decided to do is we decided to open this up to everyone because we believe that this information was something that everyone needs. But if you're needing to get to the next level in your real estate career and you want to collaborate with us, this is the stuff that we're focusing on. So our agents can not just be powerful, successful, and loaded with tons of money, but also be knowledgeable in the space of real estate. So I think you guys have a great night.
Good night.